Hey everybody, what is going on? I am Maximus Rex and this is Big Baby Reviews. Today is Tuesday, so it is Sam Keith Day. We are looking at the next issue of his The MAXX series, issue 18, cover dated August. Let me figure this out. August 1995, all right? So just got to say, you're planning to have a cover like this with just, big black bold with just a slight skinny outline of your lettering. I would say don't do it. Doesn't look that great on this cover, to be honest. It's all right. It's not the end of the world, but anywhere else I've noticed, like, I've got to prepare little thumbnails for the videos that I do, and getting this image digitally onto, an image in Photoshop and then downloading the video, or excuse me, uploading the video and then putting that thumbnail up. All of this just gets completely lost. Now, I know we're not supposed to be designing things that are going to be looked at in, on the screen. It's maybe like, what is it? Half an inch, maybe 2 inches, depending on the side of your screen, size of your screen, excuse me. But yeah, that's something you got to be thinking about. Maybe this was a quick cover. It's not, I mean, I like it, the actual image here, but where's the rest of it, right? So I guess this is all he had. Maybe he didn't have a lot of time that month, so they just decided to throw all this on, and the type beware, the hoolie. It's just, it's the MAXX. It's a weird series, but I'm just not really into the design of this cover itself. At worst, I would have, had a much bolder colored in logo here, so it pops out, so it's the MAXX, so you can make out the numbers and the price and stuff much better, right? Bolder colors at the top here, and just lose beware the hoolie and just leave it black. I mean, that would be better design to me. Anyways, just my opinion. Still like the actual image though. Very nice Sam Keith stuff, where he's using mixed media, a lot of painting and a little bit of ink there, I guess. Some charcoal maybe, like every time I'm not quite sure. I know he uses watercolor, sometimes paint, probably uses all sorts of paint, acrylic and gouache, and some chalk pencils, not chalk, what are my pastels, excuse me. Anyways, that's it for the cover. Let's have a look inside, see what's going on. We've talked about, obviously, the MAXX being a weird series. Last issue, I said it finally kind of got back a little bit more to the concept of what I really enjoyed or wanted to see originally in the series, with that kind of vibe of the MAXX going in and out of the real world and the Australian imaginary outback. So we get more of that this issue. Tempered with a little bit more of Sarah and secondary character stuff, which is fine. I think this is like, there's a good kind of equilibrium in this issue, bringing all these elements together and making the series a little more entertaining, at least for me and my tastes. Story and art, Sam Keith. Dialogue, Bill Messner-Loebs. Finishes, Jim Sinclair. Assistant, right? Lettering, Mike Heisler. And colors, still Steve Oliff. I wonder if he sticks around for the whole series, if like the creative team stays the same all the way to the end. I don't actually know the answer to that. If you feel like you want to spoil it, it's not the end of the world. Let me know in the comments if you know the answer to that. I'll see if I can reply, and but maybe if you can keep it for yourself, I'll find out at the end. Hopefully I can get some more of those last few issues before I get to the point of reviewing them. They're really hard to find. Those late MAXX 30 and up issues are really hard to find. All right, so we see Mr. Gone again, and what's left of his head. From what I can understand over these last few issues, his head is just, after it was cut off by Julie, it's just been hanging around and trying to talk some sense into people and let them know what's actually going on. So he seems to know a lot about the MAXX and his real origin and stuff, and Julie as well, right? And her psychological problems. And, we find out eventually Mr. Gone is Sarah's father. It's quite an interesting and weird miniseries, but again, the art really always holds it up for me. Love this shot here. He's really kind of pushing into graffiti art with some of this as well. I think there's a slight reference to that here. Now, is that just Jim Sinclair maybe on this page? Sometimes, I do feel like he would do a complete page here and there, based more on a picture or photography, right? So on this next page, we've got Julie kind of in the real world and showing her representation in the Australian outback. I like how last issue they kind of established this look where Julie's hair has no real outline. Excuse me. That was a sneeze, and I'm just going to leave that in there because I don't want to edit this stuff. So yeah, there's a color hold look to her hair, right? Instead of having an outline and this kind of digitally created sky and stuff. I think really helps to differentiate the worlds. A lot of rendering on this toilet, right? And this even, like, not that it's, I think it's bad. Is that Sam Keith, or is that the colorist, Steve Oliff? I'm not quite sure. It's hard to tell sometimes with this comic. But that's a lot of time to spend on a toilet, which I think worked out great, to be honest. Just I've never seen a toilet in a comic, I don't think, with to the point of almost being photoreal with the reflection and everything, this light highlight. Interesting to me, maybe only, so I'll move on. Got some interesting layouts here, again from Sam Keith. You can always count on him for that. The storytelling's still clear, pretty easy to follow, but always trying some interesting stuff. So, you know, both versions of Julie looking, one into the toilet, one into the pond that they discovered last issue in the Outback. And the MAXX here on some sort of adventure with one of the Izzes. I'm not quite sure why he's not with Julie anymore. At the end of last issue, he was with her at the top of this mountain with this bottomless well, I guess. And then there we go. At some point, something's bubbling up inside the volcano. I think it's the truth, all of it, all at once. And as we all know, the truth isn't pretty. And in the real world, basically, what's left of Mr. Gon's head shoots out of the toilet. Which I think is hilarious. And now we're getting into some, like, Sam Keith having fun and cartooning. You know, looking kind of like a squished ball sack, basically, at this point. Very interesting kind of texture to what's left of his head, and the fact that he can still talk without a mouth. Very surrealist. Obviously, the MAXX is known for that. I've said it a bunch of times. Right now, we've got flying toads here in the Outback. And the truth, or at least the acid lava, begins to eat away at the layers of his skulls, right? That the MAXX was walking on last issue, and the toads are released, and the lava covers all. Like, all this stuff I really enjoy, right? Kind of like Frazetta on acid, I guess, is how I describe it. Corbin, you know, inspiration as well. And as you know, has been stated earlier, I think in the MAXX and a half and the MAXX's origins, he got those big spiky things from plunging his hand into the lava, so he does it again. It's, you know, they say when Mount Hooley awakes, the world ends. Sarah says I gotta plunge my claws into lava again to bring the circle to an end. You'd think I would have remembered that putting your hands in lava is really painful. Yeah, I would imagine so, even in this world of surrealist action. That is the MAXX. So the lava works its way down through the subcrust and down to the primitive cow bathroom. Here, the distilled essence of Mr. Gon lies slumbering. Okay, so some of this lava makes its way into the real world? Is that what I'm supposed to understand here? It's very, again, it's the MAXX, so it's out there. Again, this ball sack hanging from the ceiling here is just hilarious to me. Ooh, don't know what that is. Some form of lint. I gotta say, like, there's something, I'm enchanted by this representation of a toilet. I think it's really well done. The rolls of toilet paper on top, like, for something so mundane. I don't think I've ever seen toilets represented that much in comic books, and I think that's just a really good job he's done there. Yeah. Man, this is just disturbing. It's like a ball sack that's been pulled up and the balls are hanging down. Sorry to put that picture in your head, but that's what I'm seeing. It's gross. Maybe that's what Sam Keith is going for. So we're finally going to meet the hoopla. All I know is there's these floating heads of people talking to the MAXX coming out of this guy's nostrils. So again, I've said it before, I really do enjoy surrealism. Getting a healthy dose of it here. What is it about the deserts and stuff and psychedelics and, you know, Dune and like there's some Star Wars Dune-y kind of stuff going on here. No? Is it me? So yeah, we've got these floating heads, you know, talking to the MAXX, coming out of this guy's nostrils. We're back in the real world for a little bit, back into the Australian outback. I like that here all of a sudden the MAXX knows French because he says merde, which basically means shit, right? That has got to be a reference to Crumb, or at least Underground Comics, right? I don't think I'm mistaken in that. The way the lettering is, the rendering and stuff. And then all of a sudden we get something really cool from Sam Keith when he starts to pour on the painted and the colors and the watercolor and possibly pastels, mixed medium. He's using all sorts of different colors and paints. And he just, first of all, starts off with a cock rendition here. And then slowly the hula, is that what it was called? Let me look at the cover just to be safe. Yeah, the huli, excuse me, is revealed. Get a bit of Arthur Sweetum in there. Looks kind of like a whale, but then we get a shot of the ass here. Like it's it's very much Corbin, Sweetum, Underground, all mixed together. You know, it's why I appreciate Sam Keith. He's got a lot of influences mixed into his art, which, you know, makes it his own and stuff. But, you know, all influences that I think I really enjoy. Frank Frazetta, another one of those. And just having a quick, you know, who has the balls to do this? All of a sudden, one panel's just black and white, you know, full silhouette. Even the MAXX has no color. Almost, you know, because he's scared of this creature, almost like the color has been drained out of him. We've heard that expression, right? We've seen it in, I think it's an old Looney Tunes cartoon, right? Where it actually happens. Maybe it's Roadrunner and the Coyote. Not too sure, but there you go. So yeah, we get another scene that's kind of reminiscent, I would say, of the first MAXX story. I think it's in, I'm pretty sure it's the one from Darker Image #1, right? Where the MAXX is kind of pursued by one of these huge giant creatures from the outback. And in this case, the huli pretty comedically basically attacks the MAXX by trying to slap him with his head. Like, so at this point, is it even his head? I guess it is, but what an odd... Only Sam Keith could come up with a creature like that. And again, that's one of the reasons I really like the MAXX. It's very distinctive, you know, and whether I agree with all of it and all the philosophy or not, I certainly appreciate it for the boundaries that it pushes and how singular and different it is from other stuff. And that's really what I appreciate about it. Story-wise, to a certain extent, but mostly in the art. Small funny detail here. Confirmation that the MAXX's claw is his middle finger, right? We've never really gotten a clear shot. I can't think of one. And now we're getting a few. He's really running around with his hands open, which, I mean, if it's happened in prior issues, I really haven't seen it or noticed it, I guess. You know, his hands are always kind of like this. And sometimes, you know, you see a bit of the detail of the other fingers and stuff. And sometimes it's just one big glob, you know, like when he, you know, plunged it in the lava earlier. I don't know how far back, I'm not going to go, but like it was just one big kind of shaft of claw. Finally, we get confirmation that, yes, in fact, it is his middle finger, which is hilarious. That was part of the appeal as a young, rebellious kid, right? Just before puberty. Hey, this guy's got just two middle fingers sticking up. That was part of the appeal, Sam Keith. It certainly was. Some more multimedia paints and stuff being used here. Very cool. So back on the floating shard of ground, I'm not quite sure. And the MAXX is notorious for this, for not putting anything. So like this is how the issue ends, and you do kind of expect more to happen, and more doesn't happen. You got to wait till next issue. But I will say with this one, I am looking forward to the next issue and seeing it more so than I was in the past few issues, where we're really lacking any kind of MAXX presence in his own comic and really focusing on the secondary characters. You know, I'm not saying that wasn't necessary maybe for the storylines he's establishing now, and they're kind of converging. But if only that section had been a bit shorter, I may have kept collecting it back in the day when I was a kid. It just kind of dragged out a little too long, these secondary character focuses, and lost me originally. But, you know, with these last couple of issues, you got me back on track here, Sam Keith, and I'm really actually enjoying the last issue and this one as well. Velocity, the series. Wow. Like, was Image selling so many comics that Velocity warranted her own series? September 1995. Yeah, maybe that didn't happen. That's in around when the bubble burst, right? 94, 95? Maybe more 95? Anyways. Vanguard got his own series. And Wildstar here. This is the second one. When you wish upon a star, expect all hell to break loose. Yeah, Chris Marinan. I'm going to say Marinan. penciled the Second Wildstar series. I've never read it. I've seen it a couple of times. I really should buy it at some point, but I don't think it was. I don't think it was like had a high print run, so I don't know where I would find it and how expensive it is. I'd have to look into that, but I'd be curious in seeing it. I don't hate Chris Marinen's art. Oh, the head-to-head is still going on, and again, we're just gonna be keeping notes on how long that actually lasts before the internet picks up that kind of slack. Brad McGinty's Smellville, Georgia. There's a place called Smellville. Interesting. Wonder what it smells of. So these guys are getting the back cover. It seems on, from what I can tell from the past few issues, is that the back cover is for fan art that is in color. So fine with this, interesting, but this here, I guess, you know, you didn't have to have high standards. If it was in color, they would kind of put it there. I don't know how great I think this is, but that's a pretty good job there. Just my opinion. There you go, guys. Maximus Rex's opinion of the MAXX issue 18. That was it. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know in the comments below. I'll try to reply as best as I can. I've been doing that, you know, since the beginning. We'll see how long that works. Those of you who are subscribed and are still watching the videos, thank you so much for your loyalty and for sticking around. Those of you who are not subscribed and are watching videos, please do so. It really helps out. It's really quick for you, and it gets us out there and the channel out there to other like-minded people who are into the same things that we are, basically comic books. So without further ado, thank you guys for watching and have an awesome day.
Like, subscribe, like, subscribe.
King Comics presents Big Baby, Volume 1, Issues 1 to 13, 204 pages of story and art. King Comics also presents Star Crasher one-shot, 32 pages, cosmic sci-fi surrealist adventure. You can find these fine comics at KINGCOMICS.CA, at MaximusRex13 on Instagram, or on Facebook, MaxRex or Big Baby.